Hi everyone, and welcome back. Apologies, it's a day late. Just a bit tired, work, all that stuff. Don't need to drag you into it. Um, but we are back with the first official review of the first round of fixtures of the World Cup. Obviously, because it's a day late, there were games last night that were the second round of games, but we'll delve into those next video. We won't touch on them this time round. We'll just specifically focus on the first round. And as opposed to the way we did it in the season over the Bundesliga and the A-League, rather than do it game by game, we're just going to kind of pick and choose moments because, we're not going to painstakingly sit here and slog our way through all the games that we've had that feel like, as an England fan particularly, has taken a fucking age. Because I had to wait a whole damn week to see my team play. And we'll get onto our game. Not a bad game in the end, but we'll get onto that. But we'll just kind of, rather than go through it game by game, we're just going to talk about how the tournament, how the tournament started as a whole, and first World Cup to have 48 teams is kind of a bit to dive into there. How are you today, Ben?
Very, very, very well. We mentioned that a few teams and yours in particular had to wait a little while for your first game. I'm pretty happy. The Aussies got the win on the Sunday, and it wasn't even the biggest game of the day. So
you really missed the trick. You could have said, "I'm pretty happy." Saints got a win on the Sunday. So did Australia, but let's talk about Saints.
But that was the point I was trying to make. That great day. I actually watched the first half from a function room at my inside Marvel, which was pretty good. It took them 20 minutes to actually get the big screen going, which is a bit disappointing. And they had a guy like playing music on a guitar while the game was actually going on. So, you talk about your atmosphere all over the world. That's what you want. You want to watch a soccer game with covers playing in the Maroon 5 or Mr. Brightside or whatever in the background. That's what you really want. But look, it's better. I haven't sort of seen too many of the games.
That's a great image, great atmosphere to kind of imagine you're trying to watch a World Cup game and you've got a live band in the background just blasting out some bangers like Sunday Morning and Harder to Breathe. We're talking proper like OG Maroon 5, none of their new poppy shit over the last, it's been a couple of years since they've actually really released any music of note, but you know what I mean, right up until about the early 2010s, and then they've just kind of fallen off since then. Just a live band just playing that in the background. It's like, hey, look, I'm kind of feeling this,
And we talk about Maroon 5, I'm just seeing Qatar's opening game result, that 1-1 draw against Switzerland, but I couldn't resist that. Sorry, folks.
I couldn't place what you were talking about in my head, and then I realised, the flag.
Because the FIFA website's literally got the flags on it, which is helpful. So, but didn't really get too much of a chance to see too much of the games this week. Obviously working, but as I was saying to you off air, being able to watch from the kitchen at work, bits and pieces, has been really good, and I am looking forward to getting up early in the morning and watching all 18 games or whatever it is tomorrow and Sunday.
I've got a better story I can top that. The other day when the Argentina Algeria game was on, one of the people in my team, she had her phone on her desk and was watching the game whilst working.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's if I was able to do that, I probably would, but luckily the kitchen's like 1 minute walk away from my desk, so it's not too bad. But look, it's been the first week proper has been really good. I mean, we've seen some really interesting results. I mean, we said we're not going to talk about individual games.
Well, we're not going to. What I mean is we're not going to just do it game by game.
Oh no, but
we're going to make it a different format for how much football there is.
Oh, definitely. So I guess aside from England, let's do it this way. So what's been your highlight of the first week of matches so far?
I mean, look, the Australian viewers are probably going to crucify me in particular because I'm English, not so much if we don't mention the fact that it was an impressive win, so to speak, for Australia. I'm not going to like some of the other Australian fans. I'm not going to sit here praising the performance because it was anything but convincing.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously that's the way Popper wants to play. Fair credit, it's worked for one game. I'm not like these other Australian fans who think it's just going to work in every game now that it's worked in one game. Let's not forget, Turkey had a lot of the ball, a lot of possession, and they wasted chance after chance. And the way they were trying to break down that defence was abysmal at best. The game plan and the setup from Montella or whatever his name is, their Italian coach. Apologies, I really should be I'm terrible for doing my research for these videos, but here we are. You know who I'm talking about, Turkey's coach.
Oh
yeah. Like the plan to try and lump crosses into Aktakolu, who's about half the size of Burgess and Sousa, was just never going to work, and the fact that they were just trying it relentlessly for all 90 fucking minutes was just mind-bogglingly dumb, in my opinion. So it made it a lot easier for Australia to defend that. They were basically just being able to sit in the box and just head clear balls they were never having any trouble of really being able to get to. Good on the counter, and obviously, you know, for obvious reasons, you're very happy at the second goal scorer in particular in that game.
Well, that's sort of what I was just going to touch on before I sort of go through my probably highlight of the week. But
I just want to make it clear, that's not my highlight of the week. Not in any fucking chances Australia winning. My personal highlight of the week.
No.
I'm just labelling it as, you know, something to talk about before people start going, oh, you didn't fucking talk about the fucking Socceroos, you pommy can.
I'm having visions of
We've
my
never really had to
Instagram
do a
feed
disclaimer,
right
but
now.
parents, if you've got kids watching, we're not trying to be PG or anything when it comes to our language on this channel.
No, and I just had flashbacks of my Instagram reels and comments this week. It's that sort of language, but yeah, the second goal.
It's a term of endearment in Australia. Who can blame me?
Yeah, it is mad cunt, sick cunt. You know.
All right, we don't need to repeat it.
Yeah, just making sure YouTube knows it's not for kids. Anyway, look, Conor Metcalf, great second goal. I was at the footy, so I didn't see it live, but I did get the score.
You probably saw some equally impressive goals that you were more interested in.
I certainly did. Liam Ryan kicking 6 goals was probably a bit better for me than Conor Metcalf scoring for his country when, let's be honest, he's had minimal minutes at St. Pauli.
But that's not really his fault.
No, I'm not saying it's his fault. It's the coach's fault, and it probably. I mean, good on. I love the bloke because he played at City, and he was great for us. But
I mean, you even obviously we're going on a massive tangent here. We will talk about other games obviously shortly, but you even told him, I thought, face to face in person when he was leaving to join St. Pauli.
Yeah.
I thought you said to him in person, like, right, an extra, and said, "Oh, good luck in St. Pauli," because I'm a Pauli fan.
I did. They had like I think it was like the last game of the season before finals, and fans could go on the pitch and they had like a meet and greet. I said to him, I said, good luck, man. I'm a massive Pauli fan, and if I was going to Amy Park tomorrow, I would have my Pauli gear in tow. So, but look, great result for him, and I think it probably just says a lot about
hold on. So you said to him, "Oh, if I was going to Amy Park for the game."
No, I didn't say it to him.
I'm just saying, like, imagine if he'd be like, "What do you mean you're not, mate? What do you mean? Well, you can't blame me. No one else goes."
Yeah, well, the Seagulls might have something to say about that, but
the old library.
Yeah, the old library, exactly. But look, good on him. It's been a difficult season for him at club level, and I think it just really shows that whether he sticks around there or someone else snaps him up, it's a good advertisement for other clubs to have a look at him. As much as I'd love him to stay with us, but I mean that's our game. But look, there was some really. I mean, I think Japan's probably the other one. 2-2 draw against the Dutch, so good on them.
Yeah, it was a great performance. Like the fight back from Japan. I mean, but we kind of expect it from this Japan side. They're such a well-organised team who just don't give up in the games. Like they're such a hard team to, like, you know, maybe not necessarily beat, but obviously they're difficult to beat if they're still want to make, but they're not a team you're just going to sit there and roll over for the most part, because they are very kind of driven team. It's that Japanese like workman-like mentality to just kind of get stuck in and dig in for 90 minutes. To be fair, they got good players in that team. Some good level Bundesliga players who obviously are decent in the Premier League as well. They've got a well-organised team, and I don't know, something about, I think I've said it, I can't remember if I said it in our preview to the World Cup, but the Holland team doesn't really enthrall me all that much.
No.
You know, they've got good players, but I just don't think the balance is there.
No.
I don't know, like, they'll obviously get through the group, but how far they get into the knockout stages is something which is going to be undetermined. I know they obviously made the semi-finals in the Euros, but that's different. Different level of competition largely there. Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't all too convincing. I know they did look strong in the game, but you can't write Japan off. That was a very good performance. And we'll talk about the opening game as well, obviously, because we have 3 red cards in the opening game. Yes, Mexico's was a bit contentious. I don't think it was actually a red when you look at it. There was definitely a man covering in the centre, so I wouldn't have classed that as a last man fairly. I don't know if that's the ref being like, well, I've given South Africa 2, so I might as well give 1 back for them. And if that is the case, that's shocking officiating. You've got to still be fair. If it's not a red, it's not a red. Who cares if you gave the other team 2 cards, right?
Yeah, it's an American World Cup, so I mean, with all the corruption and stuff, what do you expect? Like, one of the refs didn't make it over, but that's not why we're here, obviously. But I'm just going to say,
on that though, right? It's a touch of class from UEFA to give that Somalian ref the UEFA Super Cup.
Oh, absolutely.
Read about that?
I did because
I
did. And Canada even said, you're free to I was going to say watch, free to officiate our games. But and speaking of Canada, just quickly, they've got 1 foot in the 1 foot out of the group stage as well, and good on them. But I mean, we're only talking about the first game, obviously.
Yeah, I was going to stop you there. Do they? We're only talking about the first week here.
Well, I hope they do. I'm sure we can edit this out later. I sincerely hope they do because look, one of the co-hosts and we know how dominant their cricket team's been for a number of years, and I say that with a large splash of sarcasm, of course. But the last thing I'll say before we move on is, Landon Donovan, go fuck yourself, and Vinnie Greller's brother, Mike, I don't know no, they're not related, but Mike Greller, this, US, I don't even know who he is. He's like the Kane Corns, and for you, Chester, Kane Corns is like an AFL ex-player journalism guy who's like sensationalist and just is a complete fuckwit. This is the American version of him. Port Adelaide, but here's the American version of him, just loudmouth, and he's been running his mouth all week about how Australia's got nothing and the US are going to beat them. So,
he's spot on. That's what he's saying.
we'll see, but there's as much as the first week's been really good, I'm looking forward to talking about next week.
If we're talking about highlights, the US's performance against Paraguay is a definite highlight for me of this first week so far.
Yeah.
Such a good performance. It blew me away how good they were, especially in that first half. I knew coming, and a lot of people probably knew coming into this, US aren't a team to really, they're a team who can definitely compete, but my word, did they show the world how good they are right now with that performance. A normally frugal Paraguayan defence was just ripped apart in that first half, but mainly by following Balogun, who had an unbelievable performance, should have had a hat-trick, really deserved it after that performance. And I've never seen the defence give up in a World Cup match more than I did Paraguay for that last goal. Still, to be fair, Gio Reyna,
I was just going to say, absolutely brilliant finish. That was top class.
But the defending was awful. I didn't even want to defend. It felt like
terrible. But
it's like, here, have the ball, have a shot. we've already lost this game. It's basically the last kick. Just have a pop, see if you score.
Sounds like some Saints games I've been to this season. That Hawthorn game a couple of weeks ago, maybe. But look, credit. I mean, look, the US are obviously going to be wanting to put on a good show on their home stage, and we're not too good a show, hopefully, but it's going to be interesting to see, I guess, what happens with them and which of the host nations besides Canada get knocked out first, because there's some quality, and you mentioned the US side, and the one gripe I do have is with the jersey. It looks like it looks like a peppermint candy cane or like a life preserver, like a the red and white one that you put over your...
largely, I think a lot of the team's jerseys, the kits in this World Cup look quite good from what I've seen so far. A lot of them, there's not many bad-looking jerseys in this tournament, to be honest.
Well, I am wearing ours, as I did last week, but they've been really good, some of the designs, and but the one thing we've got to talk about, given the fact that we're talking about the first week, what the fuck's going on with these hydration/commercial breaks? No, I know. Oh, it's
Test cricket's back as well, so they're probably just following suit.
It's the heat of hammer.
Breaks.
Breaks. Well, they're not actually technically. I mean, they are drinks breaks, but they're ad breaks as well because the consensus among, and I've said a lot of fans, it's just about getting more ads in.
Every time there's like one of those like hydration breaks in these games, in my head I'm just hearing like cricket commentary, just like Haffers or someone going, and it's time for a drink.
That is true, but it's just.
Could you imagine if they started doing that in football, in cricket, how like every like half hour or so they change the commentary over for obvious reasons, because it's much longer. Imagine if they did that in football, like 20 minutes of a game, they've changed the commentary over.
Yeah.
They have like commentators swapping in and out.
That's actually not a bad idea. If certain commentators on Fox or whatever that piss me off. Seven's got a few as well, but I mean, when I'm at the game, it doesn't bother me as much, but that's actually...
Yeah, the commentators, yeah.
Exactly. That's actually a really good point. So, but, look, I think in terms of the turnout, because a lot of fans have travelled, I think it's been fantastic. I did see...
My mates over there, Kyra, if you're watching.
Oh, fantastic. Shout out. I did see on the news the other night that Scotland have set up camp in Boston and have basically almost drunk all the pubs dry. I'm not even kidding.
The players.
Well, if they make it through Scotland, they might be joining them. So shout out to the Cross as well. In St Kilda, they've been showing the games.
You're going to go there for the Morocco game tomorrow?
No, I'll be going back to bed, I think. So, maybe, but no, I think it's sold out anyway. So you can imagine, the scene. That's the other thing with the pubs in Melbourne. I was on the way to work the other day, might have even been yesterday, and I got the tram on Burke Street past the Imperial Hotel, and there was like a whole bunch of people standing out the front, and so it's bringing the country alive with all the pubs and the bars being open. I think I saw SBS had clips of one of the Argentinian pubs in Sydney, and someone was in an inflatable shark costume, and Messi scored his hat trick, and they were loving it. So,
I mean, look, we'll get onto that after. We'll get back on track and off the tangents now. US phenomenal performance, only bettered by one team in my opinion. And I know they were playing Curacao, but we did say obviously in our preview video that both of our predictions were Germany to be the surprise team to potentially win this whole thing. That's a great showing if they mean business from here. 7-1. It actually makes them the all-time leading goal scorers in World Cup history as well, Germany. There's another fact for you. They are now the leading goal scorers of all time in World Cup history. I think 239 net goals they have in World Cups now, something like that. Gone one ahead of Brazil's 238, I believe. But yeah, that was a statement right there from Germany. They were excellent. I know they were playing Curacao. I know. Context does have to be provided. They didn't have a tough game in front of them, but still, credit where credit's due. They looked good, they looked sharp, they looked on it, and it reminded me a bit of, that even though the scoreline was different, but they had a 7-1 to be fair in the 2014 World Cup, but that's what I'm talking about. It does remind me a bit of how they kind of started that campaign, and obviously they went on to win that and be incredibly dominant throughout it. With that 4-0 win over Portugal they got in their first game in 2014. And they've done a 7-1 against Curacao. They did a 7-1 against another South American team in the 2014 tournament. So I wouldn't rule it out.
Neither would I. But I mean, Germany, or as I'm calling them now, Bayern Munich, after half a season.
There's not that many Bayern players in the team. Right?
No, I know. There's only
Kimmich, Musiala, Leonard Carl.
That's half the side, but yeah.
No, it's not. It's 4 players.
No, in the 11.
And Yon and Tar.
Yeah, if it's an 11, it's almost half the side. Anyway, what I was going to say was, and we've talked about this during our Bundesliga reviews.
And Pavlovic.
Anyway, if they sit, and you know where I'm going with this, if they seriously wanted to take the piss, Germany, they should just do reverse grid, just have every player on the squad score a goal. I don't care if it's like the third choice keeper. Do it. If you really, they're going to be up there to, like you said, to win it anyway. May as well have some fun, and yes, possibly denigrating the opposition at the same time. But why not enjoy it? It's once every 4 years, right? So, I want to see Manuel Neuer score a penalty. What can I say?
I mean, look, it was incredibly impressive from Germany, and look, the next thing it's fair to talk about, we've spent a long time on this channel talking about players who are a bit less than, especially at the A-League level. We're not really known in this channel for hyping up the big names of football, but I think it's about time we probably brought that into the channel, because we got a lot of that in this first round of games. Mbappe was excellent, especially in that second half for France. Yes, Elise was a huge part of that win as well, but Mbappe, especially that second goal, what a finish that was. Unbelievable hit that was. And the bit in Haaland as well, obviously. Norway clearly acclimatised.
As have their fans,
Haaland just basically in his first World Cup game looking just as sharp as he's playing in his 20th or 30th World Cup game, right? Just good solid performance from Norway. Haaland once again looking busy, looking on it, looking sharp. And the biggest thing to talk about, obviously, is the debate that everyone goes over. And, there was a big statement in this first round of games between Messi and Ronaldo, now wasn't there? Now, not just because I'm a United fan, but I do honestly believe as an overall career, Ronaldo edges Messi. That's my take on it. I've never known yours. Why don't you give it right now, Ben? We don't talk about the big players enough, so I'm actually curious to know, because I don't think you've ever told me, because we never really bothered to talk about this stuff. Overall career, who are you picking, Messi or Ronaldo? Who is the better of the two?
Well, first of all, which Ronaldo? Are we talking
Obviously
Portugal Ronaldo or Brazil Ronaldo? Okay.
Obviously Cristiano.
I'm gonna say Cristiano, and this is why. I've seen on socials this week a growing trend of Americans who seemed to think until someone had to literally announce it, maybe ESPN or someone, that Lionel Messi, yes, he plays for Inter Miami. I just nearly said Inter Milan. Inter Miami. That doesn't mean he plays for the US. We claim that the US sometimes is a little bit thick in the head. This is the perfect example of people just not paying attention and not doing their research. He plays for Argentina, not the US. The fact that it had to be announced just says everything you need to know about some American soccer fans. And they'll come at me now. But it's Cristiano.
Is that seriously the reason you pick Ronaldo over Messi? Because that just happened recently. Surely you had an opinion on the two of them before this week.
Yeah. If I'm nitpicking, Cristiano Ronaldo speaks English and Lionel Messi doesn't.
Come on, that can't be the reason you're choosing one over the other.
It's not. They're both quality players, but I think here's the clincher. Has Messi ever played for? Was it Al Nassr in the?
Ronaldo plays there. Right now.
Oh, there you go. In the Saudi league, no. So there you go. It's close. It's as close to the A-League as he's going to get for mine. So
well, for me, the biggest reason speaks for itself. When you're comparing these players, Ronaldo has more goals overall in his career. Ronaldo's played in the Premier League and done quite well in the Premier League, if I may point out. It's just a little known fact that he did quite well when he was in the Premier League. Did win a Ballon d'Or when he was playing in the Premier League. So there you go. And the fact that Messi, what I will say is overall I think Ronaldo ahead of Messi, but the way their careers are ending, I'm admitting right now that Messi is ending his career a lot stronger than Ronaldo, because he was poor for Portugal in their draw against DR Congo. Just another one of those performances where he's just not got the legs anymore, and he's almost looks like a hindrance to the team, really, doesn't he, these days?
Yeah.
Not enough, he doesn't have that pressing ability anymore. He's much more sluggish than he used to be. Fine, he can still strike a mean ball, and obviously he's got the jumping ability still, but the legs and the drill, it's not there anymore. The pace he had to rely on, it's gone. Whereas Messi, with the way he always played, he didn't have to rely so much on quick acceleration out of the blocks, and look, fair play to him. Phenomenal performance for a 38-year-old man in a hat-trick and still looking like he's 28. I have to hold my hands up to how good he was against Algeria. That was an incredible performance from a player that looks like he can still play in one more World Cup the way he's at least played in that game.
Probably could.
I think, as I said, Ronaldo overall for career, but Messi is definitely ending his career the better of the two. I have to admit
there's
that.
no doubt about that. I'm just going to give a quick shout out to DR Congo as well. Fantastic effort to get the draw there. But
Portugal look poor. I'm not going to lie.
they did. Yeah, they did. They're relying on too few. That's what I've been saying about Norway for ages. It's all about Haaland, and that's it.
Good. That's the
they are. That's what I'm saying now. They are. They've got quality players, and there's something else I was just going to mention, and I completely forgot what it was. No, I meant to. It'll come to me anyway. But yeah, it's just the first week's been fantastic. I think, and I guess we're going to sort of start seeing, hopefully, the better teams sort of rise to the occasion, and that's going to be, I think, good for the game, and yeah.
I mean, look, as a Bayern fan, obviously as a St. Pauli fan, your really only representative outside of Metcalfe and Irvine is Vasil, and
was.
Eric Smith's injured in
bloody hope. I was going to say just if he's leaving anyway, so it's like but.
No, I mean, like, I'm not sure if he got picked for Sweden or not.
I don't think he did. No, I don't think he did.
Because James Sands definitely didn't get picked for US, did he?
No, he did not. I can't think of anyone else.
No, what I was going to say was my team in the Bundesliga has had a great week of World Cup football. Kane scored twice, Elise got 2 assists, and Diaz was man of the match for Colombia.
Yeah. That's
what you want as a Bayern fan, isn't it?
I was going to say Kane missed one as well, though, didn't he? He missed a...
No, that penalty got retaken. No, it got
right.
Because, we'll talk about that now. Obviously, England had to wait a week to play, and had to wait another, well, not a week now, but another few days for them to play, with the fact that we're in the last group of this tournament. But look, pretty average first half, if I'm honest. I was a little worried, we were letting them in a bit too easy. Whatever Tuchel said for them at half-time, we noticed they came out a little later onto the field in the second half. Definitely worked. The start of the second half, Bellingham, what a purposeful drive, what a finish. We need Bellingham. Like, if Bellingham's going to play like he did, because he was excellent against Croatia, he really was. If Bellingham's going to play like that, we are going to do well in this World Cup. I'm not saying we're going to win it, put the brakes on people. I'm not being deluded. I'm just saying we're going to have a good tournament. Whether that means we win it or not is a different conversation. Still haven't got enough proof. We've only played one game, so let's just chill out. Not being some deluded Aussie fan here. But the way that Bellingham played in that game, excellent. The second half performance from England was phenomenal. We ran away from them in the end in that second half. Look, I know Rashford's probably not good enough to play for United anymore, but that man still brings a smile on my face whenever he scores, just like he did in that game. Good, promising performance from England. Much better than what we've seen in the lead up to this World Cup. So I'm just hoping the way we were playing was just friendly mode and players weren't putting 100% effort in. Whilst I don't condone that, because if you're playing for your country, you should always be putting effort in. You've got to be proud to play for your country. But I don't care if it means we lift for the tournament. And, look, Ghana's still going to be difficult. Obviously, we should still win it. It's not a question of why we're obviously going to get out of the group, especially now that we've won our first game. But getting out in first place is a lot better than third or second, obviously. So look, great promising performance from England. I mean, did you watch any of that game?
No, I didn't. I was I think I said to you before we jumped on, I had planned to get up early, and I planned to get up a bit early for the games this week, but just unfortunately didn't end up happening. So I'm going to make up for it tomorrow, and I think I might even get up early for the Netherlands-Sweden game at the glorious time of 3 a.m. on Sunday morning. I mean, I'm all for the 6 a.m., 5 a.m. kickoffs, but I think I saw the Portugal game is 2 a.m. Like, come on, that's like fucking midday in America. That's ridiculous. Like, and that's the thing. What Dickie, one of my mates in our one of our WhatsApp groups, was saying it's like mid-afternoon tomorrow in America for the US game, and that's ridiculous. Like, and that's it. While I'm on the soapbox, I'll say this: in terms of the fixturing, how on earth would you have the US, who's a host nation, the first game up on a Friday during the day, when Brazil can't even get that spot? Have a guess who's playing the late game tomorrow?
It's Scotland, isn't it?
No, it's Turkey and
Oh,
Actually,
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
let me,
Turkey, Paraguay. Yeah,
yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
How on earth is that going to get primetime numbers?
No, I know the reason why they do it in
Mhm.
the this is the thing. This is something in Australia people aren't all too familiar with because they don't really have the same level of fan altercation that they do in England. It's a common thing they do in England. A lot of the time in England, you'll see the big derby matches like
Yeah.
United, Liverpool. Not all the time, obviously,
Black
but
Country
a lot of the
Derby,
time,
Millwall,
like
West
United.
Ham.
Yeah, that definitely would.
Mhm.
We're going to see that next season, obviously.
That's right. Yep.
But yeah, like the Wales derbies, Cardiff, Swansea, United, Liverpool, like these big derbies, right? Arsenal, Spurs as well. They would have the midday or earlier kind of like early afternoon, midday kickoffs for the
Yeah.
sole reason of the earlier in the day they have the game, the less time there is for fans to drink
That's
beforehand, and the less chance of there being a violent outbreak because if fans have been on the piss for like an hour or two before a game, it makes a huge difference if they've been in a pub since 10 a.m. and kickoffs at 5 or 6 or 7.
I hadn't even thought of that, but that's
a huge
yeah.
difference.
Nah, perfect.
So
yeah.
my thinking of this is obviously there's a lot of tension right now between Australia and America for obvious reasons. And I know there's a lot of vocal Aussie fans out there who just can't stand US right now. And I think they're trying to ease that tension by getting them in early so they're not on the piss for like several hours before kick-off.
Yeah.
Because it will kick off between.
Oh yeah.
I get the feeling.
No, and I had to be honest, I hadn't even taken that into consideration. It just wasn't. I sort of wondered why that was, and you've explained that brilliantly there. And it makes a lot of sense. I mean, you look at the scenes in New York last Sunday when the Knicks won their first NBA championship in 50-something years. They went fucking mad. So, and that's nothing compared to when the Saints break their 60-year plus drought. I might add, just putting it out there. When, not if, but when. But you make a good point, and the bars are already packed and whatnot, and it's probably why you won't see any Scottish games in prime time over there, I think, too. So, but
look, there's a couple more things we should touch on with this week because it would do us a disservice to some of the fans of the countries. Cape Verde, and in particular their keeper.
40 years old,
Is he 40?
Yeah, he is, yeah.
Their keeper's 40. Cape Verde's keeper's 40.
Makes me feel pretty good about my athletic prowess.
What's a performance?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, look, there were a lot of wasted opportunities, poor shot selection and stuff from Spain, it has to be said, but still, some incredible saves, and to get a draw against Spain is so credible for them.
Yeah.
I thought New Zealand had a really good, strong performance in their draw against Iran. That's 4 consecutive draws now in the World Cup for New Zealand, still unbeaten.
Unbeaten, that's right.
Since whenever they were in the previous World Cup before 2010. No, before that, I mean. Because they were unbeaten in that as well.
06, I think it was. Was Germany? No?
It wasn't. There was a long time before that. It was like 70s or something like that.
I know, I think you're right, yeah.
Yeah.
Because ours was 70s before
around
06.
70s or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, New Zealand's still unbeaten in the World Cup since the 70s or 80s.
That bus they're parking is holding up quite well.
Yeah, some big teams who've fallen flat early on. Obviously, I mentioned Spain. I thought Belgium were quite poor against Egypt. Largely, Lukaku had to come on and rescue that point for them. So they weren't particularly great in that game, Belgium.
Uzbekistan.
Brazil were crap. My brother summed it up perfectly to me. He thinks Brazil's lost their identity, and I kind of agree with him. They don't really have the flair that they used to when you think of like the R9 era, the Ronaldinho era, Rivaldo, even Romario and Dunga and all those players going back before then.
Yeah.
They don't really look. Vinny Jr. once again, yes, I know he scored a good goal, well taken finish and everything, but like still did absolutely nothing in the game aside from that. Got bullied by Hakimi all game. Just reminded me of him getting bullied by Lima all game in the Champions League when we beat Real Madrid. And then Cunha comes on way too late, in my opinion. Carlo Ancelotti should be better than that. You expect better of him than that, the managerial tactician and CV he possesses. Brings Cunha on way too late, and what do you know, when he brings Cunha on, he creates more panic and havoc in that Moroccan defence than Vinny Jr. was all game up until that point. So, look, poor from Brazil, and my brothers they definitely have lost their identity if you watch them these days. They don't really have that Brazilian look to them anymore, and they don't look good. And it looks to be... I mean, look, I think Morocco are going to win the group there, I've said it. I genuinely think Morocco will win that
Every
group.
chance, yeah.
Morocco are good. Obviously, some transfer news on that. I just found this out the other day. Bayern have signed a Moroccan player from PSV, Saibari, the guy who scored against Brazil. Remember that little delicate chip over the keeper?
Yeah.
The guy who scored that, Bayern have signed him. So
Mm.
more good news there for next season in the Bundesliga. But yeah, look, Paul from Brazil, like Portugal, we've already spoken about. They do not look convincing themselves. So there's some big teams that have started slow. Obviously, that means nothing in tournament football. Argentina lost to Saudi Arabia in their opener in the previous one, and then won the tournament. Spain lost to Switzerland in their opener in 2010 and won the tournament. So really, slow starts don't mean all that. There's proof it doesn't mean too much in these tournaments. But still, you want to try and get off to the best start possible. But yeah, look, and you know, the first game, we spoke on the red cards, but South Africa were crap. They really were poor in that first game. I was watching along whilst watching the Trevor Noah's watch along.
Oh, yeah.
Because if there's anyone you want to watch, if there's any watch along you want to watch, it's Trevor Noah.
Yeah.
God, I love that man. If you're watching Trevor, please like and subscribe. Please, love you, man. One of my favourite.
Is that? I think I saw he did it. He did his Bill Clinton impression. I did see bits of that. I think Mike Myers was there, and
that was the France
else?
Senegal. That was the France Senegal.
Right.
Mike Myers was there with his son, wasn't he?
Yeah.
That was crazy. That he just had Mike Myers
in a Liverpool shirt.
Yeah. Look, whatever. You can be a pseudo scouser, I guess, Mike. It's up to you, but I don't. Yeah. If you want to make those life choices, Mike, that's on you.
Well, I thought
you can hold that. You can wear that burden of being a pseudo scouser.
Well, I was just gonna say one of my favourite films is So I Married. One of my favourite Mike Myers films is So I Married an Axe Murderer, and he plays the Scottish father.
Never seen it. You're not confusing him with Michael Myers there?
The Halloween guy with the mask? No. No. No, but so I'm just surprised he hasn't got
Never heard of that film. When I think Mike Myers, I think Austin Powers,
no, it's a 90s,
Wayne's World, Shrek.
I think it was around the time of Wayne's World, so it's quite funny.
Party on, Garth.
Yeah, party on. So like you said, some sort of underperforming teams, and just I think some of them are sort of starting to find their feet, and I guess we won't probably know until this time next week when we jump on to talk about the second round of matches.
And I'll make a really bold prediction. I'm going to make a super bold prediction right now. Get ready for this, and let's see if I'm right. Really bold prediction ready. I reckon this is crazy, right? I reckon not only in this Canada-Qatar game, I reckon I'm making a prediction that Qatar will have 2 players sent off, and that Canada are going to win it 6-0. That's a bold prediction, isn't it, Ben? That's a really bold prediction.
That's pretty bold. I mean, I've looked forward to seeing
and
that.
I think South Africa earn themselves a credible draw against Czechia. Not Czechia. Sorry, excuse me. Wait. yes, Czechia. Yes, Czechia. Yeah. Trying to remember who's in their group.
You just had to check your notes there just for a second. Thank you very much. Here, tip your waiters, try the veal, all that sort of stuff. Well, I've got a bold prediction of my own.
What?
I predict that tomorrow's blockbuster between Brazil and Haiti is going to be shown on SBS Viceland. I think that's going to be the pool. The main SBS channel is just going to be overflowing with fans, and they're going to have to show it on Viceland. That's my big prediction.
You're saying Viceland because Vice is known for is it like Vice, like the company that's known for all those drug documentaries, and because it's Brazil and Haiti, you're kind of making a joke there?
No, that's the actual name of the channel.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we think it's a weird joke there.
Yeah. Oh. No, it's literally it's like their secondary channel. So,
I was going to say, if they're going to do like a football match on Vice, then surely like Keys versus Frankston or something would be the one to go for that.
The magic of the NPL. Shout out
the Cannonook Frankston derby.
The battle of the freeway. Yeah, the rubbish stream freeway. Anyway, I mean, I'm looking at
Centrelink derby.
Centrelink derby. We could go on like this for a while. But Look, I think in terms of like looking ahead to some of them in Netherlands and Sweden next week, that's going to be great. Germany versus Cote d'Ivoire.
Oh, that's one on definitely this Sunday as well. That one is.
Oh, it is too. Yeah.
That's on Sunday morning. That's going to be a good game. That one. Definitely try and watch that one because I reckon that's going to be a really good game.
Yeah. Tunisia, Japan, which I'm going to have to. I won't be watching the first half of that at Marvel. I can guarantee you that. I'll probably watch. I might even just go somewhere before I go to Marvel and watch the first half and not watch it on my phone in the second half.
Oh yeah, because you got another like 2 o'clock kickoff, don't you?
3:15. So
3:15. Okay, a bit later this time.
No, same as last week.
Oh, okay.
So it's exactly the same time. Except I'm not going to go to the bar at Marvel and...
When's your next late kickoff? You haven't had one in ages.
I'm glad you asked. Let me actually check that. I think it might actually be that Geelong game in a few weeks, which is ridiculous to have it on a Thursday night in winter, I might add. Yes, I'm being, pedantic and whatnot, but...
No, I mean, your next one at home, though. Like, your next late one at home. Because it feels like it's been ages since you had a night game.
That's a very... Yeah, so all round it's Geelong in a few weeks. When is the next... Just having a look here. It's not that one. It's not that one.
Essendon's after the bye, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's like the same time again. Okay, the next one, we play Carlton again on the Sunday night. The fact that it's not a public holiday, by the way, is ridiculous, and I'm probably going to take time. I might even take a week of leave by then if I can.
Yeah, there's no way you're missing that Carlton game. You had to miss the first one, the one we did the live stream for. Those.
Well, I didn't miss it because I was there in spirit, and
yeah.
Thank God we won. That's all I can say because it would have been.
But you're definitely going to be attending this next one.
Definitely. It's like what date? It's the first week of August. So factor that in. We're not even in July, and we've got about 6 weeks left of day fixtures, except for one. So yeah. We haven't got a home night game for like 6 weeks. But, hey, you never know. We might be undefeated now. We might be on a 7-game winning streak by then. And
go again.
7-game winning streak. And, like New Zealand, it transcends years. So you just never know. But, look, I think, getting back to the games, what is New Zealand versus Egypt, the battle of the traditional rivals.
Kyron's going to that one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yep. France versus Iraq. A lot of these traditional rivals that are playing. Panama versus Croatia in Toronto. The heartland of those two clubs, countries, I should say. Bosnia versus Qatar. Scotland, Brazil. That's actually going to be a good game. So
yeah.
I think so. It's going to be interesting. Like I said, it's going to be interesting by the time we get back in next week and we're sort of talking about what I guess the last round of matches is going to look like, and they're all pretty condensed from what I've seen. So I think there's 6 or 8 games a day on. I think I saw somebody said for the last because that's the thing with the fixturing I didn't realise. Like after next weekend, we're into knockout territory.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
4 games a day, aren't they? Yeah. They have to get through.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these players, all of these players pretty much have a pre-season they've got to get back to after having a break, a holiday, obviously as well.
Yeah.
Considering they've just come football. The football schedule's crazy for these athletes these days. But look, one more thing we'll touch on before we wrap up. Obviously, this first week kind of look back, not really a review, but a look back, I guess you could call it, is the news out of the A-League. Legend that he is, Stevie Corica, has left Auckland officially to try and challenge in Europe and go for it because he's earned his stripes here. More so, he's won pretty much everything he could have possibly won as player and manager in his time in the A-League. I can't think of another player who's had as successful a trophy career, management and playing wise, as Corica did, because obviously, fine, he never won the Australia Cup, but that wasn't a thing when he was a player, so he couldn't have won it. He has won it as a manager, obviously. He's won the Premier's Plate 3 times. He's won a grand final 3 times as well. So, look, fair credit. Sorry, Premier's Plate twice, my bad. But yeah, fair credit to him. He's won pretty much everything he could have won domestically, at least in this country. On to pastures new and have a crack at Europe, Stevie Corica, because you deserve it, and you definitely can have. It would be great to see him go get a job in England. It really would, because I think he could definitely hold his own in England.
Yeah.
100% that man could.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah. Best of luck on your travels to Europe, Stevie Corica. If you're watching, please like and subscribe. You Sydney FC legend. Yeah, best of luck. Hopefully he can just take the Andrew and potentially even end up in the Premier League one day. And possibly do a better job than Ange ever did in the Premier League. And hopefully not end up as Australia's manager one day, because that will ruin him.
He's done everything else, so, you know.
Yeah, and then come back to Sydney and win a couple more trophies.
Or come to City and show us what it's like to actually win another one. No.
Get your own legend. Oh, that's right, we have yours. But anyway, look, that'll wrap up our first week look back on the I was about to say the A-League.
Feels like it though.
On the World Cup, obviously, we'll quickly touch on England is struggling right now in the second test against New Zealand. It does have to be said, but you know, it's almost like a free hit. Whatever, if we lose it, it's 1-1, and we go and win the third test. I've never liked the Oval. We always struggle there. At least whenever I watch us at the Oval, we seem to struggle. Trent Bridge is a lot kinder of a ground for us, and it's quite a flat ground. It's like stark difference to how that Lord's ground was. But anyway, enough said about that.
Yeah. the one thing I will just say, because we're obviously there's a lot going on this weekend. Saints playing the Bulldogs on Sunday afternoon. I'm pretty pumped about this. I just don't want a close finish like I've had the last 2 weekends. Thankfully, we actually won last week, and with less than a minute to go, we were in front by 8 points, so I could relax a little bit. But massive game for us. The Bulldogs have beaten us up on us by 60 plus points in the last 3 years, which is not good. But we are in a wildcard spot, so we're actually in a final spot as it stands right now. It is a top 10 this year, but I couldn't give a fuck about that. You purists can, do one. Go jump in a lake, exactly. Because we've got no more games interstate. We've got one in Geelong and the rest are in Melbourne, so we're it's coming home. So to 10th spot, and then we'll see.
10th spot is coming home. Yeah.
So bring it on.
Yeah, we'll leave it there. Hope you guys enjoyed another episode of, the first episode, I should say, of the kind of weekly look back over the World Cup action. We'll be back next Thursday. Try and do it more on time this time. We'll be back next Thursday for the next one. Until then, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave it a like, a subscribe, a follow, all that good stuff. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Take care, guys.